Let's move on. Defensive player of the year. I think this could be a really interesting discussion because there are about a million candidates. Uh, Sam is going to throw out like Walker Kessler or some shit. We got
I
anybody?
feel like that's somebody you would throw out, not Sam.
I I would. That's true.
You're not
I'm
I
going to
feel like
pick
you
picking.
Chet
just did
Holmgren for
throw it out and then
everything.
tried to blame Sam for throwing it
Where
out.
was the
No,
Chet
I'm not
Holmgren?
picking Walker Kessler.
Where was the
Uh,
Chet Holmgren MVP discussion? I mean, why is Chet not getting any?
I'll throw somebody out. I mean, I can just say who I think my pick is going to be. Uh, I, I'm making Evan Mobley the favorite. I just think Evan Mobley is going to come out this season with some shit to him. He got his ass kicked in the playoffs last year by Mitchell Robinson. And if you're Evan Mobley and you're that talent level and you're on defensive player of the year ballots and you're looked at as, the next great coming in the league, and rightfully so, because the dude is going to be awesome and he's so good at so many things, especially on the defensive side. It was only his second year. And I think some people look at it and they're like, he's skinny. He looked soft against Mitchell Robinson. They could not keep the Knicks off the boards in the least. Neither could Jared Allen. And they look at it and they say, he got exposed. That's a flaw in his game. And the other way to look at it is he's like 21 years old. And that was his first time playing in the playoffs. And what happens with a lot of great players when they get their ass kicked the first time in the playoffs, when Kobe Bryant shows up for a series as a teenager and he airballs a couple of 3-pointers, he comes back and he says, oh, that's never happening again. And I have a feeling Evan Mobley, along with all the natural progression that happens for an awesomely talented player in his early 20s, is going to come back with a different kind of fierceness this year. I think Cleveland could be really good because of it. He and Jared Allen are a fantastic defensive combination. Mobley blocks shots. He guards the perimeter. He's switchable. They use him on anybody. I just his body is probably going to get better as well, just because like he's still really young. He's disciplined. Like I feel like we're about to see a monster defensive season from Evan Mobley.
Good logic. I like that.
He
Subplot. You
was
saw some of that stuff.
he was third in it last year, by the way. So he
Yeah.
that would signal ready for a breakthrough.
By the way, since you're disparaging Walker Kessler on this pod of yours, Fred,
I wasn't. Walker Kessler is freaking good, but he's not my
National
defensive player of the year.
Team
Him and
USA
Jakob Poeltl.
participant. This Vegas
Jakob
Vegas
Poeltl
odds,
should have been my pick. I should have.
I thought he at least might be your dark horse pick.
Yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
Vegas odds that I'm looking at, I'm not going to say where because it's probably not a partner of the company, but Walker is 10th, so he's not that far down. But Slater, before we get to some of the other picks, how would Draymond Green feel about being 14th according to this Vegas list here? That's pretty rough.
That actually is surprising. He was fourth last season.
I
In
think
the actual
fans
vote.
might need to go put some money on Draymond for defense.
Guys,
play.
I think when we talk about these awards, we have to factor in the new rules. Like, is Draymond going to play 65 games?
60, yeah. I mean, he's been pretty durable in his career. Obviously, last year.
Draymond hasn't played 65 games in half a decade.
How many? Did he
Although
get
I guess I'm.
That's the
he
point
would
of the
have.
rule.
He would have in 2020, 21, but it was the shortened season.
That's the point of the rule.
I don't
think
know.
Or I should say last year he was the first time he played.
Yeah, he played
65
73 games last year, and he was
yeah.
fourth in defensive player of the year. So I think 14th is too low. I am not picking Draymond Green, but I would agree. Like, name a few people that he's lower than that is probably outrageous.
I mean, Jaren, the reigning DPOY champ, Jaren Jackson Jr., I think a lot of folks are going to stray away because the foul trouble is such a real thing. We've got Anthony Davis, Giannis, Bam Adebayo, Wembanyama on this list is sixth. Rudy Gobert, Brook Lopez, Jarris Walker, Walker Kessler, Drew Holiday. And it's low for Drew, too. Nicholas Claxton, Joel Embiid, Draymond Green.
Nick
Embiid,
Claxton being above him is...
Yes.
Draymond's the best defender of his generation. But I will say the games play thing is going to throw a wrench in all this stuff.
So go for young folks, you're saying?
Yeah, like Evan Mobley played a lot last year. That's part of why Cleveland was good. Their guys just played a lot of minutes.
Not to stay on the usual suspects.
And can I throw another name out there who probably won't play 65 games, but I don't know. I don't know why. I keep thinking that Anthony Davis is due for this. He had so many phenomenal defensive moments
I
last
thought you were
year.
about to go like Ben Simmons or something right there with the
No, he was just not the same
James Harden.
defensively. I mean, Ben Simmons at his peak was friggin'
a
amazing.
defensive player of the year candidate.
Absolutely. But he was not physically the same specimen. Although he's looked better in the preseason. He's dunking more. Nets Twitter is excited. He's dunked 3 times in the preseason. It's a big deal. But I'm not picking Ben Simmons. No.
All right.
But Anthony Davis, if he plays enough,
Is that your pick?
no. No, my
Okay.
pick is Evan Mobley. But
Oh, you already did that. Sorry.
Anthony Davis, if he plays enough, which you want to talk about not playing enough, the last time Anthony Davis played 65 games was 2018. So we'll see. But that's a dude who, like, the Lakers defense could be really, really good. I think if Milwaukee's defense gets into like the top 10, I think you have to look at Brook Lopez or Giannis as possibilities for that, because their perimeter defense is going to be really shoddy. And
All
if
right,
they have a strategy where they just pack the paint and it works, those guys are going to bear huge responsibility for it. And for
Sam, who
Jaren
you
Jackson
picking?
Jr., for what it's worth, first of all, he struggled in FIBA, which doesn't really affect my opinion. But the problem with him, Sam, you mentioned the foul trouble. He really has to play the 4. And if Steven Adams is not going to be there and he's not going to be healthy, and he seems to have health problems now more and more as the years go on because he plays such a physical style, and Jackson has to slot over to the 5. When he plays the 5, his foul rate goes through the roof. When he's the
Right.
4 next to Steven Adams, that's when he's at his best. And
All
if
right.
he's
So
at the 5, he's
no.
going to foul like crazy. So if he has to play more 5 this year, and there's no Brandon Clark there with him,
Right.
like it just makes me a little nervous about him as a candidate.
Fair enough. No, Jaren. I don't love my pick, but Fred already kind of spoiled it. The Giannis, or Slater did this. The Giannis component, to me, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but if they are an elite defense with Damian Lillard in their starting 5, losing Grayson Allen as well, he's a good defender. I think it'll reflect very well on Giannis because he's going to have an even greater responsibility this season because of their makeup. And if he meets that challenge, if he hands more of the offensive duties to Dame, and he's, kind of that hellish, incredible force on defense, helping weak side and starting the break, on the regular basis, then I could see Giannis winning it again.
I'm going with Bam Adebayo. I feel like Miami's got a chance for kind of an FU regular season, right? People kind of, including Fred Katz, is really sleeping on him, right? He angered some of their fan base last week, saying the Indiana Pacers are going to be better than the Miami Heat. I think Bam Adebayo may have heard that and may have a monster defensive season. I mean, we all know what he's capable of on that end. So if he just plays a lot, they win. I think he's got a path to it.
I think that's a great pick. I'm on the record of saying that if I had to vote last year, I would have voted for Bam for Defensive Player of the Year. He's incredible, just unbelievable defender. Maybe the most versatile defender in the league now. I'm going to go Evan Mobley though.